coming at you with a brand new video. In today's video, we're going to be taking an early preview at the Blood Death Knight on the beta and see the recent changes they have just made to the Blood Death Knight and how well it compares against the other tanks currently on the beta. Keep in mind, this video is my personal opinion. All my views in here it's my own personal opinion. So if you don't like it, go ahead and leave a comment down in the section below. Alright guys, so right now we're going to kick it and start right off into the changes that were made on the beta and kind of look at how it's kind of changed from alpha. Alright, so let me swap screens real quick and let's get right off into it. So right off the bat, guys, you're going to see that they made a change from, they have actually improved Death Strike. They have made it a 1-pointer from a 2-pointer, which was down here. Actually may have been 3, I'm not too sure. But it was very down here at the bottom. It was required to take, especially if you were on Holy and Frost, you were required to take this if you wanted to get A-Bomb Limb. And we all know, majority of the time, the only reason you bring Blood DK is for A-Bomb Limb. Alright? Before, you brought him because it was AMZ, but then, you know, Liquid Max got a nerf to the floor, so now you only bring DKs for A-Bomb Limb. Unfortunate, right? So, alright, so let's kick right off into the biggest change for the Blood DK that I think really hurts them so far. A lot of people don't know about this, or maybe they've looked over it when they were reading through the talent changes. You may have missed it. Alright, so I hope this gets changed, but we'll have to wait and see, right? So right off the bat, you're going to go see the Insatiable Blade has been changed from its current, the way it's set up on Retail WoW currently. So right now, how it works, I'm going to explain it to you guys. So essentially, you're going to get a charge of Bone Shield. Every charge that's sucked is going to be reducing the cooldown of your Dancing Rune Weapon. So that gameplay, you know, currently like on Retail WoW, where you hold down 1 and you're spamming 1 until your keyboard breaks. You guys can hear it in my stream all the time. I'm like a crazy spammer, right? I'm just going to town on it. That kind of gameplay is going away. So those that have been getting Carpal Tunnel from playing Blood DK and Mythic Plus, you guys should be very excited because that kind of gameplay is going away. However, you're not going to be able to keep your rune weapon up 100% of the time, going pack to pack endlessly, you know, pairing everything in Heaven's Earth, right? You're not going to be able to do that anymore. Especially a really good example is in Season 3, Theater of Pain. You're able to parry the whirlwinds and a lot of the abilities that would one-shot other tanks. You could stand there on the 24-25 and just eat it and parry it. Alright, so that kind of gameplay is going away. However, I do hope that the old talent that many of you guys may have missed out on, the old talent that was in the previous tree, I think it was a build ago, actually had every single rune that you spent increase the duration of your rune weapon. Now, for some reason, that has disappeared. Alright, I don't know why Blizzard has made that decision. I think they want to get away from the Carpal Tunnel build, but I think having an ability where every set of rune would generate, it would increase your rune weapon, or every piece of runic power would generate your rune weapon. Maybe every 40 runic power would increase it by 2 seconds, or maybe even, you know, maybe 2 seconds or something as well on top of the runes. Something like that. I think players like that kind of min-max, keep this kind of rune weapon going gameplay. But I feel like Blizzard does not like that, so that has changed. So with that change, I feel like Blood DK has taken a sustainable hit in its current survivability if they don't bring it back in a tier set for Dragonflight, like if it doesn't return at all and it's just its current form. We all know how Blood DKs are with very little haste and the low gear at the beginning of expansion. They literally get destroyed. Alright, so next we're going to be jumping off into kind of what I think you guys, if you are a newer player, you're looking to get into Dragonfly, and maybe you've been a DPS or healer your entire career, and you kind of want to try out tanking because you're tired of getting your keys depleted because of bad tanks. Well, this section of the video is going to be for you, alright? So right off the bat, as a new player, are you looking to play Blood Death Knight? Your answer should be no, okay? I highly advise, if you're getting new into tank, I highly recommend that you kind of stay away from this tank. It's not hard to learn, but it's hard to master. The reason I say that is because it is very punishing, especially with low gear, and obviously having healers that don't understand how Death Strike and all these different mechanics work for Blood DK is very punishing for a new player. Like, and it's a lot different. A lot of other tanks, you can go into a pole, pop your Consecrate, or click your Cake Smash, and you're surviving. Or you go into a pole, you charge in, you click Ignore Pain, and you will live, right? You collect your shield block, you can expel block. It's kind of common sense. Blood DK is a lot different there, where when you run into a pole and you just run in willy-nilly, you most likely might get one-shot by a lot of the mobs if you're not, you know, popping rune tap before you go into a pole, or maybe if you know the dungeon really well, you know, maybe this pack you do need a pop lich board. You do need that, you know, you do need that 15% DR, right? Or maybe you need to pop IBF going into the pool, or maybe there's a cast you need to pop AMS. So all of these different reasons, I'm going to highly recommend that you stay away from Blood DK at the start until you get more comfortable with tanking. Alright, so there's that. And next we're going to be kind of talking over how currently in the beta, how it compares against the other tanks, and kind of what Blood DK needs to get in order to stay competitive like it is in Season 4 currently, and kind of what we should be looking to change, or maybe what we'll see in the future for Blood DK. So as of right now, yes, AMZ is nice, right? That's a blessing. Oh, that's cool. As of right now, Blizzard recently from SOD and also SFO, they have been planning fights where you are required to have grips, and obviously for Mythic Anduin it was pretty required. I mean, there was some, you know, guilds that did it without, but it was very rare. The middle guild that's getting Mythic done, like your middle tier getting it done, you're most likely ran a Blood DK, or you were forced to play Blood DK because you needed to get it done. So for that reason, I think Blood DK has a raid spot now, so you are guaranteed that spot if it has grips for that fight. But if you are that tank, you're a new player that just got into tanking, I would highly suggest that you get another tank built up and ready to go, because a lot of times they're going to be asking you to play something else because they're not going to be needing grips on every single fight. And if Blood DK stays how it currently is, with very little party buffs, I really don't see even like the Racer World First really running Blood DK that often as it currently stands. We don't really know yet once the tier set gets involved. Like I said, we already went over for Mythic Plus for newer players. Stay really far away from Blood DK for right now. Hopefully that changes all with the, obviously going down the road with tier sets and stuff like that. Now, let's just talk about how it compares against other tanks in the beta and what I kind of hope gets changed or what they get added. So right off the bat, we're going to kind of kick off into Vinya's Demon Hunters and kind of what they bring versus what Blood DK brings, and kind of that your decision making process of what tank you want to play in Dragonflight. So let's just get right off into it here. So as you can see on, a lot of people miss this, but for Vinya's DH, we're talking about a tank here, okay guys? Vinya's DH now brings a AoE stun, which they did not have before. They bring Blur, which they did not have before, which is an active mitigation that they can now click, which I mean is a DR, excuse me. They also bring Darkness, which they did not have before, so that's another raid buff. On top of them, obviously bringing their demonic ward, their debuff currently, excuse me. And then on top of that, a very big deal ability that I think a lot of people looked over. Maybe they haven't looked at the recent build with Vinya's DH. They have just added enemies take 10% increased damage from all sources for 5 seconds. In Sigil of Misery, you do not need for the target to get silenced for this to take effect. Literally, it will just hit the boss and this will apply. So now they bring a 10% increased damage for the entire raid on the boss. And you can pop this like every 2 minutes. I think it's a little bit lower whenever you get to all the sigils. So not only do they bring Darkness, Blur, all these other things, they bring all that to the table. Blood DK, what are you bringing? You're bringing grips and AMZ. You're bringing 2 things. They are bringing like 3 or 4, alright? And high mobility to do tank fights that make you move a lot. Yeah, you have AMS that can absorb some mechanics just like it can on Mythic Sylvanas, but is that big of a deal? We don't know yet. Blizzard really hasn't designed rating counters where you needed to have AMS to skip mechanics or to not get hit by mechanics. Really, they haven't really designed it like that. Yeah, it was good for Mythic Sylvanas, but, you know, you could still do it any other tank. So it wasn't that big of a deal. Where movement, a lot of tank encounters, if you have a lot of movement, it makes the entire tank encounter feel better. Just like Mythic Sire. If you had high mobility, that fight as the tank player felt better, and for your raid it did feel better too, because you could get the boss in position quicker for more uptime on their damage. Alright, so next we're going to be talking about monks. Monks, they are bringing avoidance, mystic touch, and obviously fantastic movement with getting Tiger's Lust and obviously Chi Torpedo. Blood DK, really not much. So, and then next you got Prot Warrior. Prot Warrior is now bringing Rally, Battle Shout if you don't have it, and they are also bringing a 20% DR if you take the talent for your party, whenever you click Shield Wall. All right, and then now on top of that, in the recent build for the beta, Prot Paladin now has a B-Res, and they can also get Blessing of Protection and Blessing of Spell Warding, which is pretty much those two abilities can make it so you can literally skip mechanics or cheese mechanics. And for lower end guilds, a lot of times they rely on that cheese mechanic to survive certain things that will otherwise just make proc extremely hard. A good example of that is on Kel'Thuzad in SOD. If you were progging that and you had a protection paladin, you could spell ward one of those one of the frost novas. It would make the fight a lot easier for your raid team. It would reduce the healing required and would reduce, you know, how much you need to master spell. So, considering all these things, right, I want Blood DK to bring a party buff. And I don't really know what that is yet, but I was thinking maybe they could do this, they could bring this, but for the entire party. And they can move it somewhere else on the tree, like maybe put it right here, where your absorption of 15 more absorbs are 15% more effective for your entire raid or party. So I think that would be really nice if they brought that, or something of that nature. I really hope Blizzard adds a party buff for them, because right now they really don't bring much to the party/raid team besides AMZ. And obviously, you know, Liquid Max got this kind of nerf to the floor to where it doesn't feel that good. Now, if Blizzard took off the damage absorbs and just kept it at 20% DR or maybe a 10% spell damage reduction for the duration, that would be nice. But, you know, currently it doesn't do that. It kind of falls off very quickly, especially in raid encounters. And even inside Mythic Plus, it kind of falls off quickly. So those are kind of few things I want to see changed in the beta. Obviously, give some more party utility, stuff like that. Obviously, this is an early preview of kind of what Blood DK is currently looking like. So, hopefully it gets a few changes. But currently, my personal opinion, I will not be playing Blood DK. I really hope they change this to make it so your runes, you know, increase the duration of your Crimson rune weapon, but it doesn't do that right now. That is really unfortunate, but we'll see what they change. I mean, hopefully they change something. Who knows? Maybe it stays like this the entire beta going into launch. So we'll have to stay tuned, guys. I'll be making another video if they do make the changes, or if they add a party buff, stuff like that. I will make those changes. All right, guys. So I'm very interested to kind of see how Blood DK fares in the beta and where it goes from here, how much changes it's going to get, or if this is kind of what the base is going to look like, and Blizzard is kind of saying, hey, this is just going to be your grip tank, enjoy it. Or, who knows, maybe Blood DK's healing is so overpowered that they're amazing in Mythic Plus just because they can keep themselves alive, or maybe we see a super heavy, you know, magical based, you know, raid encounter. We don't know yet. But so far, I want to kind of see some more party buffs for Blood DK to kind of make it more competitive against the currently super powerful Vignett's DH. Alright, guys. So thank you so much for watching. And hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Please leave a like and subscribe button down below. I'm going to be making a bunch of these videos coming forward just about previews of each tank, and then I'm going to be updating those previews as the beta continues. And I'm also going to be uploading previews of the tanks, obviously in the raids. And obviously, when we start doing Mythic Plus testing on the beta, I'm going to be uploading kind of gameplay previews of those, so you guys can kind of see how well each tank fares and kind of what you want to look at maining going into Dragonflight launch week. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching. I deeply appreciate it. Till next time, guys. Peace out. Deuces.